Hello. Oh, is it working? Eh? Hello. Uh, yeah, like every week I'm gonna just see whether it's working first. I think the live stream is working, yeah. But I'll just double check on my phone. But meanwhile, yeah, it's pretty early in the in the morning. I kind of just woke up, so let's see how it goes. Yeah, and today, right, we're gonna be finishing these 7 character quatrains, and we're gonna like loop back to the first few poems of the genre, which are uh these 5 character ancient verse, 五言古诗. So yeah, pretty excited. I hope it it'll be fun. It's quite a bit longer than our usual ones, but hopefully we can get through them and it's not gonna take like 5 hours. Okay, let me just check. Okay. So, all right, looks like everything's working. So I'm just gonna start with, actually, you know what? All right, yeah, I'll start with this and then I'll make myself some tea. Okay, so this uh poem is by Wang Changling. A sigh in the court of perpetual faith, 长信任. So let's look through this real quick. 凤扫平明金殿开，且将团扇共徘徊。日炎不及寒鸦色，犹待朝阳日影来。She brings a broom at dawn to the golden palace doorway and dusts the hall from end to end with her round fan. And for all her jade whiteness, she envies a crow whose cold wings are kindled in the court of the bright sun. Wait, what? The wings are. It sounds like the crow's on fire, which I don't think is what's going on. Okay. All right, but first, what is going on? So she brings a broom at dawn. Okay, so is she like uh uh cleaning the place, I guess? Right, right. Is cleaning it with her fan. Okay. Okay. And then the jade whiteness is supposed to be, or at least I think it's supposed to be like talking about how she's very beautiful because when the Chinese is like her 语言, which is like her, yeah, her jade white face. And I mean, it does kind of make sense that this is like a desirable trait. And then yeah, so even though she's very beautiful, she envies the crow, and presumably because the crow has freedom. So I think this is one of those classic court poems again, where it's like well, not court poems, but it's like those ladies of the court where they kind of hate that they're they're trapped inside, I guess. They want their freedom, pretty much. Well, I'm not sure actually if wanting the freedom is a common theme, but it is a pretty common theme that uh to have these poems about these women, right? Okay. Obviously, I'm very distracted making this tea, but okay, so let's see what else. But I think it's weird that she's cleaning. Like, what's going on? Is she like a lower ranking concubine or something? Because I don't think a high ranking one would need to be cleaning. Yeah. Hmm. But it seems like the theme of this is pretty clear. It's like she envies even the crow, which I mean, a crow is like an inauspicious symbol, right? It's like, yeah. So I guess it is quite a powerful statement to say, oh, she's very with all her beauty and I guess status, what she wants more is the freedom that is almost I think it's larger than life, this crow, because it is so strongly associated with like the sun. It's almost, yeah, like you have the sun here, the sun, and then it's contrasted with the golden palace, right? So it's like there is the kind of human gold, and then there's actually like the gold of the sun's rays, and there's a sort of distinction between those lah. Yeah, that's pretty interesting. Huh. I wonder. Maybe I'll look at this a bit more before I look at the famous critics. Let's see. Oh, and quite a few of you are here already. Let me just say hi. Hello. Wait, yeah. I wasn't actually sure if anyone was here. So I was very tempted to just like chill and drink my tea. Okay. Yeah, but I do think the specific invocation of this like golden palace is significant. Yeah. And I mean there is a gold, and then there is throughout the poem there's this motif of color, right? There is the golden palace, and then her face is jade white. And yeah, and there is this here it is like, or this third line literally is, her jade white face does not compare to the cold crow's color, which is as though it brings the illustrious sun's day shadow. Yeah, so there is the, I mean this part is quite cryptic, but I think that is the about the golden color of the sun. So that's good, right? And it's that sort of brightens up the crow, which is black, right? And then that is in contrast to the golden palace, that is where she is trapped in, and she has this I guess pale face. I think there's something to it where it's like the gold of the sun is able to brighten up even like a black bird, whereas this much less bright kind of artificial gold of the interior can't do it to a like a white face. Because usually if you project a color into something, I think it's easier to project it onto a white thing than a black thing, right? So I think this is again another way to show the distinction between sort of her being trapped inside and the just the freedom of being outside the palace. Yeah. So that's sort of my take. I wonder. Yeah. Oh, quite a few of you are here. Hello. Yeah. So maybe let's see if I'm missing any context here. And yeah, I think this is from the perspective of the. Actually, oh, that's interesting because the English puts it as a third person, right? But you could also read it as like a first person, like she's thinking about this herself, which actually I think makes it better. So she's like, oh, I can't even compare to this crow, as opposed to saying she can't compare to the crow, right? Because that's like other people are judging. Whereas if she has this opinion herself, I think it's more powerful. Yeah. Okay. Oh, okay. There's quite a few of these. So it's a series of 5 poems, all about the same theme. And yeah, let's see. So this is poem number 3. So if we go to poem number 3 here, okay. So right, so this is a palace girl and not the concubine. Yeah, because I also thought it would be weird if the concubine had to do like cleaning. Right. So this is sort of a low-ranking servant in the court. Hmm. Hmm. Oh, interesting. Right. This is sort of what I was saying. Like, even though she has this, like, the contrast between her like white face and then the black crow. Oh, I think some of this analysis is a bit much though. So, oh, wait, there's someone say that this is like a palace girl that has, or like a concubine has lost favor. I'm not really sure. But I guess anyway, the fact that she's like cleaning means that she's not very high status lah. Yeah. Like, I mean, obviously there's nothing wrong with cleaning your house, but I mean, back in those days in the palace, uh, I think you don't really have to. Like, there are people to clean for you if you're uh sort of like a favorite concubine. Yeah. Okay. Hmm. Okay, most of these are actually referring to the another poem, so that not the specific one we read. So that's why I'm trying to find some. Um, find some that are relevant. Mm. Mm. Right, this is a good comment, I think. It's really bringing attention to the last two lines, right? So let's go back to the text. So for all her jade whiteness, she envies a crow whose cold wings are kindled in the court of the bright sun. Uh Actually, let me see. This court of the bright sun, I'm a bit confused. Is it a real place? Okay. It is a real place. So it's not just it's not the sun itself. It's a name of a palace in the Han Dynasty. Oh, so that is what's going on. So that is it's actually a historical allusion, as usual. Geez, I'm not sure what's going on here. Like, I think this is a place where some sisters live with some emperor. So I'm guessing it means like, oh, so it's not about freedom, it's about not being in favor of the emperor because uh so the crow is illuminated not with just the sun, right? It's like the sun of or is it illuminated by the yeah, I guess the light of this place where uh the women are favored by the emperor. So I guess basically she's jealous. She's like, or she feels unappreciated or unloved. Yeah. And that I think then that makes more sense why she's like, okay, my I'm reading as first person lah. So my face, even though it just can't compare even to this crow because I'm treated like I'm nothing. Yeah. And those are really good lines. There was a comment here which was saying that I think it was drawing emphasis to it, and it also says it's like because she's not directly comparing herself to the favorite concubines, but the fact that she's comparing herself to like a crow, I think it's like it shows like how miserable she feels, right? Like sort of low self-esteem because of that. Yeah. I think it's just there's one observation here which is like it sounds like something she would like mutter to herself, or she would be like just like grumbling to herself, which is why I do think reading this instead of if you read it as I bring a broom, or like for all my jade whiteness I envy a crow, I think that would be a better reading, because again in like Chinese poetry it is you don't have to have the subject explicitly. So here the she is actually interpretation by the translator, and I think a better interpretation would be first person. Yeah. So okay, anything from you guys? Okay, and then finally, yeah, I think that's about it. Yeah, I'm glad I looked at this thing again. I completely missed the historical allusion here. I guess it was kind of in the English, but also was not super helpful. It's like, what's the court of the bright sun, bro? Like, but okay. And I think, do any of you have any thoughts? If not, I will just move on to the next poem. Okay. Meanwhile, I'll just add more tea leaves to my tea. It's a bit bland. Yeah. Recently, something weird's been going on. It's like I get sleepy when I drink tea, which is weird, right? Because I mean, proper tea with like proper tea leaves is supposed to have caffeine, but somehow it just makes me want to sleep. Like I'm hoping it doesn't do that now, because obviously I don't want to fall asleep on stream. Okay, I don't see any comments, so we can move on to this next one by Wang Changling. It's the same author as before. So Wang Changling is Over the Border, 出寨. Yeah. 秦时明月汉时关，万里长征人未还。但使龙城飞将在，不教胡马度阴山。The moon goes back to the time of Qin, the wall to the time of Han, and the road our troops are traveling goes back 300 miles. Oh, for the winged general at the dragon city, that never a Tartar horseman might cross the Yin mountains. Okay. So Qin is the first dynasty, right? So that's about it's 221 BC founded. So about 1,000 years before this poem was written. So long as time. It's really calling back to the ancient history, right? So it's time of the first Chinese dynasty. But I mean, obviously the moon goes back before that. Like, it's not like, oh, Qin dynasty founded and then the moon suddenly appeared. But I mean, but the fact that he's emphasizing the time of the Qin, it's, you can already from the start you can tell the emphasis is on a kind of empire. Yeah, so the time of Qin, there's the moon, and then this wall to the time of the Han. Okay, I think this is some version of the Great Wall. Not super sure. So let's look at the context later. And yeah, not sure if this translation is right. Seems like it's saying the 300-mile long expedition, people have yet to return. So not sure if this translation is right. But the next one, yeah. So there's this, for the wing general at the Dragon City. So I imagine Dragon City is the capital. I don't know, but the wing general, some high-ranking general lah. Let's imagine. And finally, yeah, it's you don't want a foreign invader to cross the mountain, which I imagine the Yin Mountain should be the border separating like the central Chinese like heartland and the frontier. But I'm not sure. So why don't we look at the specific references here? I think these are all right. Sorry, this is by right is a set of 2 poems, but I believe so the first poem is the one that we're looking at here. Right. So the second line, I think my translation was right. So those who took part in this long expedition have yet to return. So I'm not sure what the translator was doing. So Longcheng, the Dragon City, is okay, it's not the capital. Bro, why are they? I'm so annoyed. Why do they keep using like historical allusions? Okay, so Longcheng, I mean, some say it's Lucheng and it's near Hebei. So that's not the capital. And the Dragon General, right? Wait. Oh, the Wings General is a general in the Han Dynasty. And he was governing the Dragon City. So, I mean, what do you keep talking about? Like who do you expect to get all these like Han Dynasty allusions? I don't know. Like, is this common knowledge? Okay, but okay, it's a historical allusion. I'm not really sure what that allusion is doing here. But I mean, he must be famous enough to be called the Wing General, right? Okay, and then next. Yeah, there seems to be a note here. No, I don't think this is very helpful. Okay, so let's go back. So now we know there's a historical dimension again. But honestly, I'm not sure what the illusion is doing that couldn't be accomplished with just like any other famous general. Yeah. Yeah. So, and the meaning of this seems pretty transparent. It's just we have to defend our border. I don't know. Am I being too trivial? Am I just like tired of reading border poems? Seems pretty, right? Seems like that's what it's saying, right? Huh. Okay. Well, Let's try a bit harder. Maybe I'm missing something. Okay. I looked at some famous critics. Seems like people also have difficulty understanding why the moon only goes back to the Qin dynasty. 人所难解. This is that which people have difficulty resolving, understanding. Yeah. Hmm. And also I think it's not really a wall. I think it's a pass, like a mountain pass. So this is not the Great Wall. So I think I was wrong about that. Yeah. Okay. And then okay. You know what? I think I was being too reductive. I think people are right in pointing out the first line where so it's not just defending the border. It's not just like I mean, it's clearly an important thing to any state, I suppose, but the historical allusion here and the fact that it goes back all the way to the Qin and the Han. So it's not just saying, oh, we need to defend our border for like strategic reasons, right? He's saying that, this is almost like this long tradition that goes back like 1,000 years that has been almost it's almost been a tradition since the Chinese Empire was established. So I think now I understand why he chose to use the historical allusion here of this dragon city and the winged general. And yeah, just and it does open with it, right? He says it's just like, yeah, the moon. So if the moon started from the time of the Qin and the mountain pass started from the time of the Han, then how long has our tradition of defending the border, how long has that lasted? So I think that is a pretty good point. And I mean, even before the Qin dynasty, there's like if you look at Confucius, there is also this sense that you gotta defend yourself against like foreign invaders. So it is a pretty, I guess, a long tradition of xenophobia. So, well, I mean, Confucius says less so. Confucius is like, we're all human. Like if there's a sage who live amongst these foreign tribes, then what trouble can there be, right? So, but again, the fact that he has to say that means that there is already some sort of distinction and some sort of conflict between like what are seen to be Chinese and what are seen to be not Chinese. So yeah, it is a pretty long tradition of that sort of thinking. Wang Changling then kind of has a point, like the so this it's like defending a border is not just like it's not just like public policy now. It's like, oh, it is our the legacy of our ancestors almost. So yeah, I think the first line does situate it well. I think I can see why this is a well-regarded poem. Yeah. Okay. So I'll just pour some more tea. Okay. And people are saying the last two lines are very powerful as well. Wait a minute. That's the historical context of this. Because is this after the? Because it'd be very different if it was written after like there was actually a foreign invasion, right? What's this? Did they have the year of this? Is this under the, the Anlushan rebellion? I say this like every week. 727. That's when he passed the imperial exam. So it's pretty late. So at any rate, yeah. I do think this is almost like when the border controls are not as good. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, because it's so he returned home after the Anlushan rebellion. And so not sure when this was written, if it's after the rebellion, but you can really see how it's a sensitive topic, right? So all right, let's say this was written after some sort of invasion from the border, then it's not just like saying we have a long tradition, but it's also like we have failed this tradition, and like if only we had this famous wing general at the Dragon City. Yeah. So in that sense, is if we read it that way, then there's also a sense of lament and regret. Yeah. Actually, now I'm liking this poem a lot more now that I have the context. Yeah. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. Maybe I'll just keep going because I'm a bit worried that the last few poems will take longer than expected. But yeah, I really did enjoy this a lot more than I initially thought. Yeah, I think it's like when you read it every week, you get kind of desensitized to the good parts. So it's quite nice to have it sort of pointed out by famous critics. Yeah. And this one, the title, I was a bit confused. When I was looking it up, they actually call it like 凉州词. Yeah, because this is exactly the same poem, right? But yeah. Anyway, I'll just read using the translator's title here, but I'm not sure if it's totally accurate. So this is Wang Zhihuan, 出寨, Beyond the Border. It's the same title as before. Yeah, so 黄河远上白云间，一片孤城，万仞山。羌笛何须怨杨柳，春风不度日门关。Where a yellow river climbs the white clouds near the one city wall among 10,000-foot mountains, a Tartar under the willows is lamenting on his flute that spring never blows to him through the Jade Pass. So I believe the Jade Pass is the pass that they were talking about, the one since the Han Dynasty, and it's on the border. I believe. I'll double check after this. The Yellow River, I mean, clearly it's not like actually going up to the clouds, right? It's like, so I guess how does that even work? I mean, there's no way I mean, if it was from a mountain, but the water must be going downstream, right? So but he's looking at it as though it's going up, is it? Okay. So, okay, there's one city wall. And he can hear well, I think it's pretty wild, right? Like, you can freaking hear, like, the people, like, presumably your enemy, right? You can hear them playing a flute. Hmm. Yeah. This is a weird poem. It's like, because if you're fighting the enemy, you it's easier for you if you just paint them as like, inhuman or totally unsympathetic. I think it's pretty crazy that he even this poem is depicting him as like playing the flute. You know what I mean? It's like clearly it's another person, right? It really humanizes the enemy. And yeah, and I also think it's wild that like you're so close that you can hear them play the flute. Like I guess in certain like landscapes, the like sound travels well, but still means they're pretty freaking close by. Yeah, and I think that's the last part, right? The spring never blows to him through the jade pass. So he's sort of telling you what he thinks why they want to invade, right? Because it's like to Wang Zhihuan's mind, the enemy is like, bruh, like life sucks. I wanna go to a place with like better climate, pretty much. Which, relatable. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm pretty shocked at this. Even though I was just saying I was desensitized, like reading this, I was pretty shocked. Like I can't believe. Yeah, I think it's pretty wild that he's like humanizing his supposed enemies like this, and I think it really puts the conflict in a different context, or it really makes it. Yeah, I don't know. It just makes it feel more tragic. Yeah. I mean, I don't know the connotations, or maybe this flute is thought of as like a lousy, uncivilized instrument. I don't know. But at least to me, I'm like, wow, he's playing the flute and it's yeah, just makes them feel very relatable. Yeah. Okay. Let me see. So why don't we look at the context of this? Maybe I'm missing something. But yeah. Uh okay. So this is for this article, it's saying that so 词 is this genre. I mean, if you learn modern Mandarin, 词 just means like a word, but 词 is also a type of poem where it's like there's this existing tune, and then you just like write lyrics for the tune for the song, right? So, at least this article says that this poem is written to the tune of this Liangzhou Chu, or so it's just a specific melody, and you see there are different versions written by other people. Yeah. And I wonder if we have, oh gosh, I guess there isn't a famous critic section for this. But wow, but actually you imagine like, so this is a poem, right? That is like performed with music. And then you're talking about the enemy who's also playing music. Like, isn't that crazy? It's like you're doing the same thing, man. You're like I don't know. I just really like this. It's just really, yeah. Wow. Like I'm just really shocked at how much he is really empathizing with what is very easy to demonize. Yeah. So yeah, really, really great, really great. I don't have much else to add because they didn't include the famous critic's poem for this specific one. But yeah, super impressed. Yeah, if I go to Wang Zhihuan's page, they will say like famous 主要作品 yeah 凉州词 首. Maybe I can find it. Oh, there it is. There it is. Okay. Okay. Now we have a. Okay. So the other name, the Chuzhai, is also a legitimate name. The other name that was written here is also legit. And so let's look at the famous critics. Huh. Nothing really substantive here. I'm like, if I was a college professor, I wouldn't. These people are just like, oh, very good, 10 out of 10. Like, okay, but give me some analysis, please. Okay, I mean, it's a different tradition of literary criticism, but yeah. Okay, I don't think I got anything useful here. Like they describe they basically just say it's really good, but with like fancy words, but what the heck does like 鼓励全容 mean? Like there's power in his bones. I don't know. But okay. Yeah. I really do like this. Which yeah, it's just yeah, this is really good. Let's move on to the next one. I realize I'm just like, it's not really productive me saying like, oh, I like this, I like this. I'm just becoming like these guys I just made fun of. But yeah, it's really good, really freaking good. Okay, so this next one, right? We have 3 poems. I think they're all connected. So it's by Li Bai. So A Song of Pure Happiness, 清平调. So I think, all right, let's look at the first one first and then see if we want to go through all 3 or do them one by one. So first one, 清平调之一, A Song of Pure Happiness 1. 人想衣裳花想容，春风拂槛露华浓。若非春日山头见，会向瑶台月下逢。Her robe is a cloud, her face a flower. Her balcony, glimmering with the bright spring dew, is either the tip of Earth's jade mountain or a moon-edged roof of paradise. What? Okay, so talking about a girl, yeah, and she is very out of this world. Yeah, you know what? Let's read the other two too. Not sure what to say about this. Okay. All right. 一枝红艳露凝香，云雨巫山枉断肠。借问汉宫谁得似？可怜飞燕倚新妆。There's a perfume stealing moist from a shaft of red blossom, and a mist through the heart from the magical hill of Wu. The palaces of China have never known such beauty, not even Flying Swallow, with all her glittering garments. I think this is actually the same illusion as just now. The golden the one with the golden hall or something. Yeah. So okay, the idea is girl is pretty. Let's go to the third one first, and then we'll unpack everything. So 名花倾国两相欢，常得君王带笑看。解释春风无限恨，沉香亭北一阑干。Lovely now together, his lady and his flowers, lighten forever the emperor's eye, as he listens to the sighing of the far spring wind, where she leans on a railing in the aloe pavilion. I don't know. Okay, so he's saying the girl's very pretty for like over three poems. Okay, let's give it a benefit of the doubt. Let's try to read deeper. I mean, obviously it's very well written, but I'm like, is there anything to analyze, or is it just nice? Okay, so this is about Yang Guifei. If you have seen the previous streams, you know she is the super famous, super pretty concubine to the king, to the emperor, who was blamed for this really terrible rebellion that happened in the Tang dynasty. So it's like, people think it's like she's really pretty. It's like, it's like, yeah, we know she's pretty, but maybe she's like too pretty that she like messes stuff up. Yeah, well, okay, it makes sense, I guess. Like, I was wondering who is pretty enough to deserve like 3 poems from Li Bai, right? Like one of the probably the most famous Chinese poet ever. And so it kind of makes sense that it's Yang Guifei. It's another like legendary figure. Maybe well, I mean, I think the message is pretty clear, but let's dig into the actual craft of it, I guess, or the specific ways he's describing her beauty. And yeah, let's see. And if you have any comments, please feel free to just yeah, type it in the chat, Okay. So first one, why is she comparing? So the robe is like a cloud and the face is like a flower. Okay, so first, even right from the start, it's like something out of this world, right? I mean, the cloud is like the first character, cloud. And then her flower, I mean, there are clearly flowers here, but I think the cloud really sets the tone. And yeah, the spring, literally like the spring wind brushes away the balcony. It's like caressing the balcony, and then it's like, but the balcony is full of like luxuriant dew. You could say that, yeah. And so this is okay. So what is Jade Mountain? Maybe I should check that. So it's either the tip of Earth's Jade Mountain or a moon-edged roof of paradise. So why don't we look up those illusions there? Okay. So this is the legendary maybe not house, the legendary place where Xi Wangmu lives. So Xi Wangmu is like, it's like the most important female deity, I suppose. It's like queen of the gods, you can say that. So yeah. And Yao Tai. Oh, Yao Tai is also, so the moon edge roof of paradise, Yao Tai is like literally the palace of Xi Wangmu. I think, okay. So there is this idea of I mean, because if she's like the queen of the gods, yeah, let's say queen of the gods, then it is pretty appropriate for like the emperor's favorite concubine, right? So yeah, okay. I don't see any, yeah, like it just makes sense. So maybe let's move on to the next one. The first, I'm like, what is this hill of Wu? I know I've seen it before in class, but I'm not sure, can't really remember. Wu Shan Yun Yu. Oh, what? Okay, so there's a story apparently. Oh, this shaman, maybe shaman. No, not shaman. Like this. I almost said like magical girl, but that's like Sailor Moon, you know. Like clearly there isn't Sailor Moon back in the day. But like a 神女, like a divine woman, and the Wushan, like Wu Mountain. Yeah. I would lose my mind if there's a poem about if Li Bai wrote a poem about Sailor Moon. Yeah. Okay. What's going on? Wait, what? That can't be right. Hmm. Yeah. Okay, but anyway, she seems to be. Okay. So usually she's just used as a way to describe beautiful women. Yeah. So 瑶姬常用以比喻美女. So okay, it's just she's beautiful, kind of like divinely beautiful. Yeah. So that's what the Wu Shan illusion means. And the next will be flying swallow. So I think flying swallow, we saw it just now as well. Yeah, exactly. Zhao Fei Yan. So this is the queen of Han Chengdi, Emperor Cheng of the Han Dynasty. So this was what was referred to in the very, very first poem, where you know the one with the crow. So the place where the crow flew from is supposed to be the place where the emperor lived with this Zhao Fei Yan lady in the past, in the uh even long before the writing of the poems. Yeah. So I guess in some sense you can say like, so this is like her beauty is like supernatural. It's like divine, right? And then here is sort of situating it in terms of like in history, I suppose. It's a history, like a beauty that will resound throughout time. Because this Wu this Wu Shan illusion for Yao Ji, right? This is also, I mean, she's sort of divine because she's like emperor of like, not emperor, the daughter of some like heavenly emperor, but also sort of is supposed to have visited like historical emperors in their dream. So I think you could see this second poem as more of like a, or I guess it's sort of transitioning from divine to the historical. Maybe that's a stretch. I don't know. Yeah. Mm. Yeah. So maybe look at the third one, which would be here. Oh, so 名花倾国. Okay, so the only illusion, so this looks like it's sort of like coming back to the present, the present of the poem. Not sure if Elo Pavilion is worth has anything worth or if it's an allusion to anything. So let's see. But Chen Xiangting, right? Chen Xiangting. This translates to Elo Pavilion. Okay, so it's a pavilion name that was constructed out of the wood of the Chenxiang, which I guess is the aloe. Wait, aloe doesn't have wood, right? Yeah, whatever. It's some nice smelling wood. Okay, so it's an actual thing. So it's not a historical illusion. So this is like, so first is sort of more, these two poems are more like, not say abstract, but they're more like out of this, or not as concrete, right? But this now is like the third poem is really like grounding it into the, the actual person. So the actual like the actual Yang Guifei and then the emperor, right? So let's see. So the lady and the flowers, they make the emperor happy. Okay. Yeah, sure. So she leans on the railing. And then there's a sighing of the wind. I think the it's like, yeah, I was just this idea of the sighing. I think that I feel like this is like the really, really interesting part, because that's the one part that doesn't make sense, right? Or it doesn't fit as easily with the rest of the poem, right? It's like, yeah, she's very pretty. I said this like 10 times. She's very pretty. And then, but why is there sighing? Why is the wind sighing? Why, or if the wind is blowing, what makes, you have to put it another way, the wind is blowing, but what makes the emperor hear it as sighing, right? So then, and if you remember the fate of Yang Guifei, she's like executed because by the officials, because they're like, oh, you caused this rebellion by distracting the emperor. So I'm sort of wondering when this was written. Is this after she was executed? Because there is this sense of like, wow, yeah, why the sighing? Why? I mean, the interpretation here is that, oh, it's like his sorrows are blown away, the emperor's sorrows is blown away by the spring wind. So that is like, so it's just like, everything in the poem is positive, but I don't know, I feel like that can't be right. Like that I feel like that would make it a lot less interesting if that were so. Huh. Mm. Okay, this is an interesting comment here. So first poem talks about the the her beauty, right? And second one sort of brings in the idea of the flower. So it's the shaft of red blossom, right? So compares her to the flower. And then at the end, you sort of so you have the flower and the lady herself. Yeah, so that's sort of a nice progression as pointed out here. Yeah. Maybe another interesting thing is like this what's translated as a lady here is like called a 倾国, which is like, it is another way of saying like very beautiful woman. I guess now you say like 倾城, you 倾城 is like ill. This really like causes the city to like collapse. So it's like, because there's also the saying, like 红颜祸水, like I guess like if you're too pretty, like then things turn to shit, like it like people will fight over you and then your life will be hard and then like kind of screw up social harmony or something. So this is not just like collapsing not just like Qingchong, not like collapsing a city. It's like collapsing like a straight up country. So that's what he's calling her. So it's like, so she's like, yeah, really pretty, but also, I mean, well, it feels like this has to be written after she was executed, right? After the rebellion, right? Or like it's just so, I don't know. It's just like if he wrote this before the rebellion, it's just like too coincidental. Yeah. Yeah. Wow, that's such a wow, so good. Wow. Like I was so tired at the start, but now I'm like the poem is so good, like I just woke me up. Or maybe it's the tea, I don't know. But yeah, so good. Wow. Oh, okay. So actually each of this is divided by the poem. So every single poem has so many comments, which is like wow. Like, okay. So I was looking at the third one, right? Like why it's sighing. Right. That's exactly what I said. That's exactly what I said. So Tai Bai or so Li Bai, the author. So in in the midst of like this extreme happiness, he adds in this character of like hun, which is a sigh or like hatred, and he's like, oh, it's pretty deep, but I don't know what. But why didn't you say why it's deep? Like that's not super helpful, but yeah, right. That's the one where like I my eye really just picked up on. Huh. Hmm. Where's the is there a background of composition in this? Okay. So this is before the rebellion, because this actually like uh so this actually happened like they were the Tang Xuanzong, the emperor, and the Yang Guifei, the concubine. Uh, yeah, I guess the concubine, yeah. And then they were like actually looking at flowers, and then they called like they summoned the famous poet, like the most famous poet in Chinese history, to come and write this poem for them. I think maybe that's why, I think I mean Li Bai is smart. I'm sure he was like, wow, this emperor's kind of too into this girl. Like that's why he sort of adds in this like it's a bit uneasy, yeah. Like he's a bit uneasy with, this the extent to which the empress is intoxicated by her beauty, or let's say. Yeah. Um I think by calling her like Qingguo, like collapsing the state, and there's this yeah, like it's just wow, it's really wild because you may know the after she was executed, like this hate character is also the title of a very famous poem eulogizing well, maybe not eulogizing, but like just about Yang Guifei after her death, written after her death. So it's called 长恨歌, is like the song of everlasting lament or sorrow, right? So I don't think it's written by, let's see who is written by, but yeah. So it's just, I don't know, it's a bit too on point, this poem. It's a bit too like prescient. Like it's like he knows what's gonna go down. Like, yeah. Just wow, just I don't know, just blown away by this third one. Like it really, I feel like it really recontextualizes the first two, like by having this third poem. So yeah. Okay, under. Wow. Okay, so we'll actually worked through a lot of poems within just an hour, but yeah, I don't know. This is wow, such such a great poem. Wonder if there's anything else since there's so many famous comments. Right, that's what I said. In amidst the beauty, like amidst this poem, there is some sort of critique hidden inside. Hmm. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. So for the second poem, they also say that there is some like ominous over undertones because the two historical allusions of like the Wu Shan, the hill of Wu, the girl from like the hill of Wu and the flying swallow, they both uh so the Wu Shan lady is supposed to be like a, or at least these people call it like the demonic dream, like she appeared in a demonic dream, I guess. And then the Fei Yan, flying swallow, which is her name, I guess. She was also like caused trouble to the state. So even in poem two, there is like some sort of hidden critique here. So that's pretty interesting. Yeah. Fascinating. Hmm, okay. Now the final one. Yeah, okay. I think that's all about all for this. I think, yeah. Oh, that was really good. That was really good. Wow. Let me take a tea break. Let me just make more tea. I guess you can all see me with my teapot. Ah, wow. Yeah, you're all very quiet today. Don't see any comments, but hope this is entertaining. Yeah, hope it's not like last week, Last week like I was training for like 5 minutes and then I was like muted. So now I'm like, wow, if am I muted? Is that why everyone's so quiet? Like, do I need to redo everything? Yeah, it's good. It's good. Really, really great poem. Like, wow. I wonder if we can. Yeah, I guess I should move on to the next one. So this will actually be the last poem of this 7 character quatrain. I guess it's good that we're moving fast because then we'll have more time to discuss the longer poems, which will be the 五言古诗. We'll talk about it later lah. So this one by 杜秋娘 the 金篓衣, I believe 金缕衣 by 杜秋娘 the gold threaded robe. 劝君莫恨金缕衣，劝君惜取少年时。花开堪折直须折，莫待无花空折枝。What? All right, covet not a gold threaded robe, cherish only your young days. If a bud open, gather it, lest you but wait for an empty bough. Sorry, I was just a bit thrown off because there's so much repetition in this poem. It's like it's 劝君 twice, right? And then there's like this 折 thing happens like 3 times. Like, what's up with that? Okay, so cover not a gold-threaded robe. Okay. Cherish only your young days. Okay, it's pretty good translation. So if the flower opens and is susceptible and it can be plucked, then go pluck it. Or you have to pluck it. And don't wait till there is a... Don't wait till like there's no more flowers left and then yeah, you pluck it when it's empty. I don't know, I feel like I'm a bit unsure about this repetition of the jaw. Like, is it good or is it like trashy? I can't tell. Is it like genius or like trashy? I don't know. So 花开堪折直须折，莫待无花空折枝。Like, I mean, it's I don't know, like instinctively I'm like, can't you use another word? This is like what, 14 characters, you repeat the thing like 3 times. That's like 20% of the 20% is the same word. A bit weird, but like, yeah, 20% of the last 2 characters is just like jaw to break, to pluck, I guess. I don't know. Let's see. This is it's pretty simple poem. I don't know. I don't think it's written like super well. Okay, so yeah, there's only one comment. It's like, it's pretty clear, pretty like, pretty 爽快, pretty like, as to the point, I guess, brisk and to the point. And yeah, it's, I mean, the clearly the meaning is like, is literally like carpe diem, right? Yeah, it's like seize the day. Yeah, so I guess the meaning is good. It's like, you know, don't, or if you read it in like modern terms, it's like, oh, don't trade your time for money. That's what those entrepreneurship gurus say, right? Like, or like time is money. Time is more important than like material things, which is true, of course. Yeah. But I don't know, I'm not very wowed by this. I guess we're coming off of Li Bai, right? Who's like freaking genius. And this is like, yeah, it's good, it's okay. Won't say it's great. Yeah, I'm just the repetition of the jaw really turns me off. It's a bit, I think I've decided I don't like it. Yeah. I don't like it. Yeah. So, okay. I guess I'm gonna move on to the next few poems. I can't believe I'm going through it so fast today. But you know, wow, look at this. This is like a lot longer than usual. So why don't I just briefly introduce this form? These are the 5-character ancient verse, or the 五言古诗. So from this Chinese Wikipedia, it says it's pretty different from the previous ones because those were all 律诗, so they're all regulated verse. So there are pretty strict rules about like the tones, like what tones can fit where. And here, this form is much looser. There's no like, you don't have to have like certain tones. Like there's no metric regulation in the technical way of saying it. And it doesn't even say like how many lines it has to be. So it's just 5 characters of like how many however many lines that you want. So it's a lot freer. And in this one, it says, I don't know, strange claim. It says like, but every line, there's a certain like fixed sentence structure. I tried to look up like what that sentence structure is, but like couldn't find it. So I'm not sure if this is legit or not. I guess as we read through it, then we will discover that. But yeah, that is sort of the this is the form, the 五言古诗. So I think we can maybe start with this one. Yeah. So this is by Zhang Jiuling, 感日其一. So actually this one, I saw it was like there's 4 poems. It's all about like his thoughts, his 感日. I don't know if I could read all 4 at once and analyze them together. Yeah, we see, but actually he wrote 12 of them, but there's only 4 included in the collection. So let's see, maybe let's do this one first because they're all pretty long and we can look at them one by one. So 感日其一，孤鸥海上来，驰横不敢顾。侧见双翠鸟，巢在三株树。皎皎真木林，得无金丸句，美服换人指。高明逼神物，令我犹冥冥。歌者何所慕？A lonely swan from the sea flies. To alight on puddles it does not deign. Nesting in the poplar of pearls, it spies and questions green birds twain. Don't you fear the threat of slings perched on top of branches so high? Nice clothes invite pointing fingers. High climbers God's good will defy. Bird hunters will crave me in vain, for I roam the limitless sky. Interesting. People critiquing the translation. I wonder if I could put in comments and stuff, but okay. So lonely swan from the sea flies. Okay. Okay, so doesn't land on certain puddles, I guess. Okay, so the next line is actually the 4th line. So it sort of glances peripherally, it sees like 2 green birds, and then they nest in, okay, poplar of pearls, some tree. And then not sure if translating it as dialogue is common. Let's see if there's a 白话, if there's a literal translation here. I suppose not. Okay. Okay, so let's just see. 皎皎真木林. What? 皎皎. What? Okay, I guess it does make sense to read it as a dialogue. So, okay, you're on top of, yeah, top branches so high. 得无金丸句. Aren't you scared? Jing Wan. Okay, aren't you scared of slings? Jing Wan, I guess it's the pellet that you might shoot at them. So nice clothes. Yeah, avoid pointing fingers. Oh, pretty literal translation, yeah. Yeah, so Gao Ming, so if you're, I suppose, very distinguished, very well known, you will incur divine anger. Yeah. So high climber, God's good will defy. I think yeah, so if you're very distinguished, you will incur God's divine anger. And then now I roam the deep, I suppose. The depths. And because people don't really 歌者 yeah, I guess hunters, yeah, hunters 和索木 so I guess who cares about me, I suppose. Okay, this comment looks totally off. Anyway, so I mean the moral of the story is like, I guess this owl, right? This goose. So I think this is a better translation than a swan, because swan is like kind of pretty, but this goose is like probably not very pretty, right? So he's like sees these like pretty bird, then he's like, if you stand out, you just draw negative attention. Pretty much, right? Pretty much. It's like just be more low key, low profile. Which it does qualify as a thought, yes. So yeah. So this poem's titled Thoughts. It is the thoughts. So I mean it's very classic, like Taoist theme almost. Just like, yeah. I mean, to go on a tangent is, if you think of like Western culture or like the Greeks, right? The ancient Greeks, they're like, you want to be like distinguished, you need to be like excellent, you want to stand out. And here is conveying the opposite thing, which is, I think is very Chinese, very East Asian maybe, where it's like you don't really want to stand out because you just, yeah, I mean, it just draws negative attention. Or there's this passage from the Zhuangzi, where another famous Chinese text, right? Philosophical, religious text. And it's like, you think the tree is useless, but then by being useless, it has survived because you will cut down all the useful trees. So isn't its uselessness useful to itself? So that sort of thinking. So I kind of spot that here. So I do feel this is very, very Taoist, very, yeah. And I think the language used does sort of emphasize the, maybe the ostentation, the like just how kind of showy they are. Because it even calls it like the Sanju shoes, like what, the poplar of pearls. It just sounds very, very exaggerated, kind of much, yeah. Yeah. So then and then because you're in this and then you'll get shot with a sling. They don't have guns back then, so yeah. I wonder what prompts him to think this though, like, as in it does make sense, but I wonder if there's a specific context that made him sort of verbalize these thoughts. But yeah, this I knew it. He got demoted. Oh, every time these poets are sad, it's like because they got demoted. Yeah. Okay. So yeah. So he's like, oh yeah, I guess I was too brilliant. Yeah. But no. Now that I'm demoted, I can just enjoy my life, which is fair, I was like, yeah, I knew it. I freaking called it. Okay. I guess he is pretty upset because he was like, apparently he's being loyal, but he still got demoted because of like, I guess people bad mouthing him. Yeah. So okay. Maybe let's move on to the second one. I feel like this is the kind of thing where the more you read, the more, because it's a set of poems, right? The more you read, the more they sort of add on to each other. And yeah, this should be thoughts too. I'm not sure it says why it says orchid and orange one. I mean, there is an orchid here, but okay, let's just read. So 感日其二，感日其二，二不，感日其二，蓝叶香微瑞，桂华秋皎洁，星星此生意，至尔为佳节。谁知灵栖者，闻风作相悦。草木有本心，何求美人折？Tender orchid leaves in spring, and cinnamon blossoms bright in autumn, are as self-contained as life is, which conforms them to the seasons. Yet why will you think that the forest hermit, allured by sweet winds and contented with beauty, will no more ask to be transplanted than would any other natural flower? I think this, yes, sorry, this should be 桂花, not 桂花. So, yeah. So let's see. So he's using this natural imagery, right? So there's orchid leaves in the spring, cinnamon blossoms in the autumn. Are as self-contained as life is. Okay, I think it's, yeah, okay, they're happy with their lives, I suppose. 自尔为佳节. I think this is saying something different from conform to the season. Okay, I think the self-contained part is here, where it's like by themselves, they make the happy season. I think it's sort of saying that like just by existing, they are content. So Zhuangzian. This is like, okay, I'll get back to that idea later. But I mean, well, this, it's not. I mean, it's Guo Xiang's interpretation of Zhuangzi, I believe. But okay, I'll explain that later. And 谁知灵栖者? So who knows? Yeah, okay. So the forest hermit, okay. So why do you think a forest hermit who, yeah, allured by sweet winds and contented with beauty, would no more ask to be transplanted than would any other natural flower? Wow, that's really cool. That's really cool. So, I mean, this one is like, so it's not, it's like, yeah, just maybe the one thing that wasn't in the translation is that it's not just plucked by anyone, but plucked by a beautiful person. Yeah. So, I mean, the theme here is pretty clear, right? It's like, I am happy by myself, just like the flowers are happy. And I mean, it's kind of like sour grapes. It's kind of like, oh, I didn't get like, just because I'm demoted, I'm perfectly happy. And, I don't even want your high ranking position. That's the vibe. So it's like promoting me is like plucking a flower, like why would I want to be plucked? So that's sort of the idea. And it's just very Taoist, right? It's this idea that sort of like you're self-sufficient, you're not dependent on anything. And I think there's also this sense of or at least Zhuangzi would be like you're Wu Dai, you're not dependent. Or Guo Xiang, so he's a famous commentator of Zhuangzi, would be like, you're Wu Dai, you're not dependent on other things, and you are yeah, sort of just like perfectly content self, yeah, just by being, you're perfectly content by being yourself or being whatever you are. And sort of, if it's not your place, if it's not in your fate, then, it's unnatural. It's, uh, yeah, and it's not to be strived for. I think it's a really good analogy here. It's like, yeah, uh, just even though, like from other people's perspective, it might be good to pluck the flower, but the flower doesn't want to be plucked, right? It'll freaking die if it gets plucked. I think that's how flowers work. But yeah, so I think it is quite a powerful metaphor. And you can also know that he's kind of trying to comfort himself from his demotion or his career setback, let's say. Yeah. So good poem. Let's see if there's anything I should look at. Oh, actually, we're doing like so well on time today. Oh, it's weird. It's like the more words you have, the less there is to say, almost, because it's like they make it more clear, and by making it clear, it's like there's less interpretation, I suppose. Yeah, so I don't know. I actually expected the longer poems to take longer to talk about, but it seems like the opposite. It seems like it's actually taking a lot less time. Okay, so this one would be poem number, oh, poem number 1 in this series. So okay, oh, there's quite a bit here. What? I don't think that's right. I don't think this interpretation is right. Oh, yeah, I think it's wrong. So I'm just gonna go with my interpretation. This is kind of a strange, not sure what it means. It says the poem is high spirited but not angry. Maybe it means that it's agitated but not angry, or it's like passionate. Yeah. So okay, not super illuminating. But yeah, I think, I don't know. I sort of read this as like contentment, or yeah, or I didn't read it as a very agitated poem. I'm not very sure. Okay, maybe if we move on to this last one. Really doing good on time today, so yeah, we might even end early. Let's see. I'm kind of quiet today. I wonder. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah, but I hope you find this interesting, at least. Like, really enjoying myself today, like these poems. Like, Yeah, good stuff, good stuff. Now, so the final poem, and then we'll call it a day. Oh. 感日其三，幽人归独卧。这是带哦，至日溪谷清，持此谢高鸟，应知传远情。日夕怀空意，人谁感至今？非诚礼自隔，何所谓物成？ The hermit in his lone abode nurses his thoughts cleansed of care. Them he projects to the wild goose, for it to his distant sovereign to bear. Who will be moved by the sincerity of my vain day and night prayer? What comfort is for my loyalty? When flyers and sinkers can compare? Okay. Hermit in his lone abode nurses his thoughts cleansed of care. Them he projects to the wild goose. Is this the goose in the first poem? 谢高鸟 for it to his distant sovereign to bear, who will be moved by the sincerity of my vain day and night prayer. What comfort is for my loyalty? When flyers and sinkers can compare. Wow, isn't this just like, he's just talking about himself, right? Like, if the translation is correct, then he's even describing himself like writing the first poem. Like, what? That's crazy. Yeah. And it's like, I suppose he's like, okay, I'm in the forest, I guess. I'm just alone and kind of trying to reflect and sort of putting this in the mouth of the goose of the first poem. And hopefully this will reach the emperor. Okay. And who will be moved? And what comfort is my loyalty when flyers and sinkers can compare? Not sure what flyers and sinkers are doing on here, but I mean, this is just it's pretty straightforward, this poem. I don't know, to me, maybe it's even too straightforward. Is it too like, what's there to say? Like, you already said everything. It's already pretty explicit. He's just like reflecting on his demotion. Maybe I'm being a bit too unsympathetic about the demotion, because I mean, it is pretty unjust. Because at least the context, he was like being, he was doing the right thing, but then the emperor really didn't appreciate it. Yeah. And he got punished for it even. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like maybe I need to change the way I read these longer poems, but at least right now it feels like, yeah, the way we were approaching the earlier poems is just like, there's not much to say because there's not much to unpack here. Yeah. I'm very tempted to just call it a day. Like, I do like these poems, but just, I don't know, not super. It just seems like so, yeah, there's so little, seems like there's so little to say that's not already like spelled out for you. Okay, so number 2 in this numbering. So are there any, okay. Yeah, I think the interpretation here is wrong. So yeah, I don't think there's much else to say. That's pretty much it for today then. And pretty exciting that we're looping back. So I think this is the 10th week we're doing this. So we're slightly less than 1/3 of the way through. And yeah, I guess we'll finish this in like 5 months, about the time when after I graduate from college. Yeah, but I mean, I do enjoy these 3 poems. Like, I might even quote them actually for an essay that I'm writing for my undergraduate thesis. But yeah, kind of struggling to find things to analyze when it's kind of straightforward. Yeah. But anyway, thanks for today. Kind of quiet on the chat, but I hope it's all has been interesting. Definitely enjoyed reading the last few these poems, and yeah, like I'm glad I'm not as sick of it as I might be. Like doing it for the 10th time, I feel like there's always something, like the poems are good enough to make me care. So yeah, that was really good. Really enjoyed today. Thanks for coming, and hope to see you all next week. All right. Bye.